George. Hope everybody had a fabulous 2 weeks. I wasn't able to do a show last week. As you know, since February, for 2 months now, I've been having back issues. And then 2 Fridays ago, I injured my foot, had to go to the ER, thought that was broken. It's all related to the back and my sciatica. On the mend slowly. Anybody with back issues knows how slow that process can be. If you were here 2 weeks ago, I had a friend of mine on as a guest, and we got busy with phone calls and things. We didn't touch on half of what we wanted to discuss, so he was free to join me again this evening. So I want to welcome back George. How are you, George?
I'm doing good. Glad to hear that you're doing better and back finally getting on the mend.
Yeah, yours went out, over the end of last week?
Yeah, at the end of last week I had some problems. I have the herniated disc in my lower back. That's why I know what you're going through.
Yeah, it's once you have it, it never goes away. One little thing can just nudge it. I was talking to somebody the other day. She injured her back the first time when she was like 18 years old. Yep. And thought it was fine. And, here it is decades later, and she's on and off with it too, and having issues.
Anyway, so you had some questions for me that we never got to last week.
So, George, I handle and control it, not you. Remember that.
I'm giving you a little push. Nudge.
I want to welcome everybody. Hi, that's in the chat room there. Some new faces. Welcome. Thanks for coming tonight. For those that did not tune in 2 weeks ago and did not catch the show, let's give everybody a little brief background just to update a little bit about yourself first.
Okay, well, since I was a child, I've had a lot of things happening. I've always kind of known things. My grandfather was the first one that ever actually appeared to me. I finally figured it out. I was about 7 years old when he passed, and that's when he actually appeared to me. Since then, I pretty much was on my own trying to learn what to do, what to do with my gifts. What was I seeing? Because, my family in the 70s and 80s and 90s, they didn't know and didn't understand it. I was fortunate enough in my early 20s to be an apprentice to a shaman for approximately 5 years. Wonderful lady, taught me a lot. And the reason I went that route is because of my genealogy. I'm 1/8 Cayuga, part of the Iroquois Nation. My great-grandmother was pure. And since then, I've found, as many people, anyone that has gifts and wants to learn will find that you will have many teachers. And I've had many teachers. Misha, yourself, you have taught me and I've taught you. Right. You never know. Teachers come, teachers go, some stick around, you never know. I was researching a little bit to try and find the proper terms for my gifts. Apparently there aren't that many proper terms because I detest the title of psychic.
Yeah. Most of us do.
Yeah, pretty much everyone. I played a little joke on Misha, making fun of being a psychic. I had a little turban wrapped around my head. My daughter went to town hanging something off my forehead. But I think she would have killed me.
For the regulars, if you saw the Halloween show with me and Title, he did kind of Title's get up that he had.
Yeah, but I was going to keep it on, but I figured she'd kill me or shut me off. Would have let me, huh? Yeah, I'm good for making a fool of myself anyway. I'm very easygoing. I've got a great sense of humor. My dog's making noise in the background if you hear it. And that's just the way you approach life, and that's the way I approach it. Is I just take it easy, and I found that the more relaxed I was about life and everything around me, the more I was grounded, and the stronger my gifts became. When you're all scattered and hectic and you're worried about everything instead of just kind of dealing with it as it comes, you're not grounded and you lose your grip.
And that's why every now and then we have to all just take a hiatus and a break. Even if we're not on vacation anywhere, traveling, you just have to turn it down and take a rest for a week or two until you can refocus, regroup yourself.
Absolutely.
We did a lot of discussion when you were on 2 weeks ago, George, about, the shaman and what's involved with that. We had touched a little bit, a lot more or less on the cleansings as well.
Yes.
We didn't go into full detail with it. We didn't get a chance to go as far into that as we wanted because we did have some phone calls come through, which we will be opening the phone lines, in about 10 minutes or so for you to call in. And you had mentioned the one that I had you come to with me, that, the ingredients and things that you had used. I don't believe we got into the different reasons why. We had started to, but then I don't think we ended up.
We touched it lightly, because I have a hard time remembering proper terminology. The main ingredient everyone is familiar with is sage. Some people call it white sage. I found that it's a common sage that you grow, and you can grow in your garden and crush it up and use it for culinary. It's actually, I have some hopefully growing again on my back deck. Trying again. So white sage, basically, it does a basic cleansing of helping to cleanse out some of the negative and encouraging the good energy to come in. It's very good for cleansing your personal self. When I meditate, I like to have a small bowl that has a little bit burning in it, or it's smoldering is what it's doing, because it's just putting out smoke. You don't want a fire going, especially if you're meditating and not paying attention.
Speaking of that, I am pausing you because another important thing people tend to forget about when they're doing that, even if you're just doing the sage, is your smoke detectors.
Get out of my head. I just had that thought, and then you paused me. And then the next thing I also use is cedar. Some people call it white cedar because it's a white energy, but it's cedar. Your green cedar growing out back. You take some of the needles, you dry them, you let them dry, and then you mix that in. I mix it in with the sage, and the cedar brings in stronger spirits of the good.
Is that a Native American thing, the cedar?
Yes.
Because that was the first time I've ever seen that being used or heard of it being used.
Yes, it's a Native American thing. I'm trying to look it up again because I meant to, and I didn't. I'll look it up. Research it. There you go. Everyone has a little homework. Research what to use for cleansing. The third thing that I use, I did not have to use on this particular case. I keep one called copal or cobalt. Hopefully somebody can correct me on what exactly it's called. As I said, I'm bad with terminology. If it's not written down, I ain't going to get it right, just like a name. I'll remember face forever. Names, forget it. Copal brings in a lot of energy. Actually, it puts out a lot of energy. Let me correct myself here. It puts out so much energy that it was first described to me as it destroys the spirits. You don't destroy them, but it puts out so much energy that instead of giving them a supercharge and feeling energetic, it pushes them out. And I use that for when I know a place has darker spirits in it.
Right.
When when we first started that, as you notice, I took some time silently. I was calling in the 7 directions. I was offering the smoke as a gift to them and asking them to come forward with their energy to help me cleanse the house. You yourself do not do anything. I do not do anything myself. I am a channel. God and the spirits work through me. I am their tool. What they allow me to see, to know, to do is a blessing to me, but I am the tool. That's all any of us are.
We're having questions in the chat room regarding the directions, north, south, east, west. I know each direction has a designated thing for each direction. I can never keep that straight.
Okay. I'm not going to be able to pull it off the top of my head at the moment. I'd have to read it out of the book.
Right.
But yes, north, you start and always go clockwise. Start in the east because that's new beginnings. Then you turn to the south, then the west, and then the north. Then you have Father Sky, Mother Earth, and then the Great Spirit who lives within us. Those are the 7 directions. When I call in the Great Spirit, and when I offer to the Great Spirit, I not only bring it here, but I also look up because to me, my full belief on my Christian background is there is a God. God is above us, and He's given me enough visions to enforce that within my mind. But I'm not going to push my religious beliefs on anybody else. We all have our rights in our own ways of looking things and interpretations.
Right.
But that's the 7 directions. Christine, thank you. She pointed out that cedar is a sacred tree to the natives, and you're right.
And you hear a lot of people use it for to line their closets and things with cedar.
Yeah, well, that's basically for the smell, and cedar's very good for keeping moths out.
Yeah, the protection of it.
Yeah, the ancestors didn't use it for keeping the moths out. But they did use it. Yeah, the shamans used it for cleansing.
We're being asked with the directions with tarot. Actually, yes, they can be. Each direction with the tarot, it's the 4 elements. Let me see here. I don't have the cards in any order. Pentacles would be the earth element, which would be the, don't ask me the direction because that I do not know. But the earth would be, pentacles would be winter time. Wands is probably south because it's the fire element, which is representative of summer. Swords is the air element, which is representative of the fall. And then the one we are missing is the cups, which is the water element for springtime. Very good questions coming in the chat room. As far as the directions for them, like I said, I guess the ones for fire would be south.
Correct. Yeah. Becklin seems to have it.
North, and the other 2, 50-50 shot. Do you know them?
Yeah, actually, I'm double checking here. Becklin listed them, and she's right. East is air, south is fire, west is water. It's kind of strange to me because west of us is desert.
Right.
and north is earth.
That's why the east and west always gets me confused. And yes, it's pointed out in the chat that directions and things like that is also a pagan tradition. You hear all the time, even when a circle is made and things like that in the pagan and Wiccan religions.
Yeah. I want to point out, I do not recommend calling upon the 7 directions until you have learned to call upon them. It is a great energy. It is to be respected. Basically, having been a firefighter, the best thing I can relate it to would be like dealing with a fire. Anyone that's had a little campfire or something, you have to learn how to control it and respect it. You don't just light a big bonfire and say, "Hey, let's cook marshmallows." It'd be like trying to cook marshmallows on a 7-foot high bonfire. You really need to learn. I never called upon them until I was trained, and it's an immense and amazing energy when they come to you. And if you do it with the wrong intentions, you're SOL, to put lightly. They know what is truly within our hearts.
Yep. Okay, with that, the question I'm going to touch with you now is going to lead into the topic that we wanted to be the focus of tonight. Quick question before we get into that is, how does one go get trained? There's lots of different ways, and it depends also, I guess, on what specific thing somebody's looking to be trained in. If you're just starting out wanting to tune in completely, figuring out what your gifts are, or if you're already aware what they are and you want to move on and improve on them.
May I?
Yes.
All right. What I found, there are classes. It depends on what you want to learn. Myself, I've let God guide me as I learned my different gifts. I was led to one teacher who helped me come to a certain level. And then I had the opportunity to start attending full moon ceremonies. And with my Native American interests, for my heritage, I went with it. And as the shaman got to know me, she then invited me and offered for me to be one of her apprentices. You can look for classes. I'm not sure exactly where all you'll find them. Start off in metaphysical stores, and that's a great place to make contacts. And you start learning about where you want to go. You can buy books. When I was in between teachers, I bought Shamanic Wisdom, and then what I still refer to, and I refer all my students to, is the Psychic Workshop. Now, this also is the woman that wrote this, highly intelligent woman, gets it, and has common sense. Not one of those flighty people. Now, one of my teachers that kind of started me off on the path was kind of flighty. You'll find that. Didn't last long there, but that was the step I needed to bring me to the shamanism. And then after I was done with that, then I had to go on. And then other people would come into my life periodically and help me along. You never know who. I've been surprised. And I've actually found my father helped me a little bit. And then I've been helping him some. You'll be surprised. When you decide that it's time for you to learn, your teachers will be presented to you. But you also need to look. So start with metaphysical stores. Good spot.
With that, this is going to lead into the topic that we want to touch on tonight. When you see spirit, because for everybody that does paranormal investigating or is a medium, it comes through differently. Some people hear,
Absolutely.
see, some just, know. How do you, I know you see, you have the eyes. See them.
All right. There's several different gifts. Just to start, like there's intuition. Most people have your basic intuition, and there's women's intuition. My wife has eyes in the back of her head, and she knows what I'm doing before I even do it. She'll even call me, on the phone. I'll be like, "How did you know?" Man, if there are men watching, don't argue. Just trust me, they know. But there's intuition. Everyone has intuition. There's clairvoyance, the sight. You have the ability to see them. Clairaudience, being able to hear them with the inner ear. It's like basically it's described like, you know how you get a song stuck in your head. You can hear the music even though it's not playing. Well, that's clairaudience. When you hear a spirit talking to you, but it's not with the physical ear. Clairsentience, feeling. You feel their emotions. You feel their pain. Clairambience, which is smell. You sometimes in most investigations you'll notice it doesn't. I don't think that's really truly a gift. It might be the only way that they do communicate. A lot of people have experienced this, where you're walking through, and all of a sudden you smell something. You smell cigarette smoke, or you smell perfume, or like Fort Mifflin. All of a sudden, for some reason, you start smelling the burnt gunpowder, which smells like rotten eggs. Then there's, I don't know if I wrote this right, clear alliance or taste. Now myself, I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. Basically, I see them, I hear them, I feel them. I have a very strong intuition where, you know, when you get beyond your basic intuition, where you just know something. I do picture reading. People have sent me pictures of somebody. A friend of mine lives in Virginia would send me pictures of guys she was dating. And I'd look at it and I'd tell her everything about them. And she'd say I was dead on. And then she wouldn't listen to me. And then months later, she'd call me up crying.
Picture readings are fun.
Yep. I do body scans. Some people have recently asked me, a few different people.
That's the topic, and what I was
getting
into, which is why my question to you, George, was more on the lines of, how do you see them? Do you see them in color, the full physical form, as, you know, we see each other? Do you see the spirits in shadow? I'm talking when you're doing a reading or paranormal investigating now, which leads into the body scan health things that we're going to be discussing. I wanted to get an idea of both so that they can...
All right. I'm going to try to cover all that. All right. With how I see spirits, when I start doing a session with somebody, a lot of times they'll come through first as a shadow, as a profile. And then as they get stronger, get more comfortable with me, then I'll start seeing color. For some reason with me, they start off with the hair, allowing me to focus on the hair. And then I start seeing more of the person. Sometimes I see just a full person all of a sudden. It depends on how they choose to come to me. When I'm doing investigations, for some reason I actually kind of shut it off, because when I'm investigating, I'm going more for a scientific proof of what I know is there. Because I can walk through a house and tell somebody, yes, you have a woman upstairs. I already did this. You have a woman upstairs. You have a man down here, and somebody hiding in the basement. Actually, I'm sorry. No, it was two men upstairs, a woman in the main floor, and then somebody hiding in the basement. I can see them before I even walk in, where I start picking up on the energy. I start feeling female energy, male energy. Is this I feel if it's intelligent or if it's just latent something repeating itself there. So I'll walk in. I use my gift of feeling to sense where is their energy at, to guide me to where they are, to be able to take the pictures. If anybody ever goes to my Facebook group site, Upper Bucks Paranormal Investigations, you'll get to see the pictures.
We were on one together, actually. Yes. I had gone outside just for some fresh air quick. And while I was standing in the parking lot, you'll remember, one of the windows to the building caught my eye, and I came in, and I turned around and I asked, where is that top window on the side of the building? And it had ended up being the attic.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that the one where I got several people up in the attic?
Yes. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah.
We used to do so many investigations together. I kind of lost track. You have to give me locations better to remember. But you know, do I ever get scared? I was in one place that they startled me. I was setting up a flashlight in a room, and then had my video camera set up, and I had a flashlight I was setting up in the room. As I'm walking out, something dropped. Now, there was a chair that was taken apart laying in the corner, and it sounded like somebody picked up a leg and dropped it behind me. Startled the crap out of me.
And I had left the recorder there. I didn't have the recorder there at that particular moment. It was later on.
Yes.
I left the recorder there and kept hearing on the recorder like almost like a ball bouncing on the hardwood floor is all we could make out that it sounded like.
Yeah. Now, do I actually get scared? Scared? Not really. I try to be sensible. If my guardian angels tell me, you don't want to go in there, I learn to listen to them. There's a patch of woods nearby that has an empty house in it that I've gone to and has a lot of dark energy at it, a lot of dark spirits. I'm not going back there at night. They've let me know. And when I didn't listen, I was drained. All my defenses, gone. Right. They're very powerful dark spirits. So anyone that wants to play with Ouija boards and dark spirits, no offense, but you're a moron. Don't do it. Dark is too powerful. It doesn't play nice. Sorry.
We are at like the half past mark, so I do want to get the phone lines open for callers. So that they can call in if you'd like to get a tag team reading from the both of us, or if you have any questions, maybe you're not in the chat room and you'd rather call us on the phone to ask them, feel free and do so.
Please, I'd love to do some readings.
The question about how they come through to you, George, and how you see them leads into the topic that we were saving for tonight.
Oh, body scans.
The body scan.
I'm sorry.
How do you see them? Are you like, it doesn't work like an X-ray machine? Do you get bright lights in certain areas of somebody's
we have a caller.
body? George, I know, I'm speaking.
I'm sorry.
It's my show. Thank you. Do you get certain colored or flashes of light or anything for a particular part that's injured? And you can think about your answer for that and get that together while we handle the caller that we have. Hello?
My apologies.
Yes. You there, caller?
Yes, hi.
Hi, who are we speaking with?
This is Christine.
Hi, Christine, how are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Great.
I had a question, if I could get a quick read.
Sure.
Do my best.
What's your question?
I gotta think about that. I didn't have one on my head when I called.
Yeah, my apologies, because I normally go over the 3 quick rules for calling in for a reading, and that is if you're calling in for anything, we need you to turn the volume off for the show, which you have done. Otherwise, you come back as feedback and we can't hear you. A specific question does need to be asked because we are limited for time and we want to get the calls through as we can. This is for simple to the point mini reads. And the third requirement for those wanting to call in, I need you to please wait until we are done with Christine because we do not have the ability to put you on hold. So if you're wanting to call in, as soon as we disconnect with Christine, feel free and do so. So what's your question, Christine?
Okay, here's a basic question. I've been having stuff disappear in my house. Sentimental value things like my engagement ring and a couple other pieces of jewelry. One belonged to my grandmother. And it was a gift to me on my wedding day. my biggest thing is I've searched this house and I've looked up and down. I've thought about who's been in and out of my house, and I'm at a stump as to where these things may be.
So
Okay.
you're asking why are they disappearing, or for
If
us
they're being
to
stolen,
promote
if the spirit's playing with them and hiding them, because I do get visitors on
communication
occasion.
going on? Yes. And I'm getting, and you can say, yes or no, please. I know you had said the one thing, an engagement ring. Are you getting a couple things that are sentimental regarding the wedding or the engagement and the relationship?
It was basically the rings.
The rings. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. George?
Okay, Christine, I'm trying to reach out to you to try and do a quick scan of your house. The way I do that is I connect to your energy through this, and I'm having a hard time. Yes, you do have quite a bit of activity, and they tend to try and block me from being able to see who they are.
I know who they are.
Main thing that's coming up is like a childlike spirit. Okay, it's either a childlike spirit or a child that has been in your house. Let's go with the spirit. I'm having a hard time differentiating at the moment. My apologies. It's not very clear. If it's a spirit, basically flat out say, hey, look, I need this item back. Please bring it back to me now. I really need it back. I've had similar happen, and usually about 10, 15 minutes later, someplace I researched, there it is.
Has your grandmother passed?
Huh?
Do you have a grandmother that has passed?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a marital relationship issue or something going on right now?
Not really.
No, okay, because I am getting that this is a message for you. And what I'm picking up that message is not to make the same mistakes that she has made.
That's his mom telling me that.
That's your mom?
That's his mom. His mom.
His mom.
His mom. Okay. Okay.
That's his
Okay.
mom. She's the most frequenter here.
Okay. Because I'm definitely getting, female with it. Why? Grandmom, I don't know, did you just recently have a new birth, a new baby?
No.
No?
No. I didn't. I have a granddaughter that's 5.
Okay.
I mean, I've had other relatives have babies within the past few months, but not me.
Okay. Was she alive when the 5-year-old was born? Did they ever
Nope.
meet? No.
No.
That's why I was getting a grandmother then, because it's her grandchild.
Well, my grandmom's been dead for, like 20 years, so has his mom.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Basically, I'm really not getting much. I keep getting something about child, so it's obviously something to do with a child. Maybe I'm going to guess that Misha's on the right track here. For some reason, I'm not really getting anything.
They're saying in the chat room.
Rings, both rings belong to both deceased parties, okay?
Okay.
The engagement ring was my husband's mother's. The other ring was my grandmother's.
Okay. That was pointed out in the chat room, which I had missed you say when you mentioned the ring. All I had heard you say was the engagement ring, and I was focusing on the female spirit and energy that I was getting.
My grandmother's ring was given to me by my mom on my wedding day before we ascended to the church.
Okay. It's being suggested in the chat room for you to check the
Yeah, I've looked in her toy boxes. We've actually recently had work done on our kitchen, so we have moved the ice box There's no, the way our cupboards and cabinets are, there's no underlying. They're all kind of like they come down to the floor. So there's no, I tore apart my closets. I've moved my couches. I've turned them upside down. I've looked under beds. We've looked under everything. I've looked in the child's toy box. We can't find it.
It's not going to appear until it's meant to. I've had that happen myself, actually, with my grandmother's ring. And I had no clue. I searched all over, couldn't find it anywhere, checked the jewelry boxes. It took, for me, 2 years before all of a sudden, one of the jewelry boxes that I had thoroughly checked, all of a sudden it was in there. Also, yes, Saint Anthony, me not being Catholic, I'm not familiar with the saints, other than there's different saints for different things, and Saint Anthony is the saint for finding lost objects. But there is, with something that is going on with you, Christine, with your marriage or with somebody else, something personal that's going on with you, it is a message that they're trying to give to you. So, whatever that is. And like I said, the very first thing that I said to you in the beginning was not to make the same mistakes.
Right.
So,
that message comes from his mom.
Okay. And messages that come through, sometimes it doesn't click until the next day or, later on, because you're so in the moment trying to figure out what it could be that you just have a dull blank moment.
Right.
But let us know what happens and when they show up.
Right.
They will show up, and I have a feeling once you understand what that full message is about for you, then you will start to find them. They're not going to be found together, though. They're not in the same spot with what I'm getting.
Right.
Thanks for joining and for calling in. Hope that helped.
Thank you.
Also, they're in the chat. If you have a diaper bag or a clothes bag packed somewhere, check in any of those. Or traveling bags. All right, thanks. Let us know.
Okay, to answer your question, or you want me to let you talk?
Yes.
I'm sorry. My apologies for stepping on you earlier. Not my place.
Okay.
Habit. Okay. When I do a body scan, I project myself to see the person, and I usually start off at their back, and I'll be drawn to the energy of where the problem is, and I'll see it. Sometimes I don't see a different color. I see a body, and then I focus and I'm drawn to that spot. And the same way as when I'm doing energy work on a person, and I'm trying to help the energy flow through, relieve some of their pain, is I'll be drawn to a certain spot, and I'll have to work there extra to try and relieve the pain, and also to maintain the flow. There's a simple thing: if your back is out, we all seem to know about that.
I was going to say
the energy stops there.
You have been good on me. On the few occasions I couldn't pinpoint where my issues were coming from, you have been able to correctly zone in on the location of what was what.
Thank you.
Since you said back, I did want to point that out. And that's why, I was wondering, like, okay, you get tuned in to a certain area. So you get tuned in, we'll use me as the example, the lower back. Now, how does it come through for you, George, to determine if it's like a disc or a nerve problem or a combination?
It's basically a combination of my personal knowledge of physiology or and biology, did 23 years as an EMT and firefighter, and I had a lot of medical training. So as I start picking up where the pain is, I actually start visualizing it.
Okay.
And it's a combination of visualizing. I'll actually visualize a disc and a vertebrae, and kind of helps me.
Now, do you pick up, I'm like a sponge. I pick up everybody's pain, emotion. Do you have that problem? Because it is
empathy. I used to. It used to be that I could not go into a funeral. I went to a funeral for somebody I didn't even know, but I was there as support for my friends, and I'm bawling my eyes out because of the strong emotion. I think part of that happened at my wedding. There was so much emotion. I was a blubbering mess. I'm up there trying to get married. My wife's friends couldn't cry because they're too busy laughing at me. I'm very empathic. I had to learn how to try and control it, to calm it down so it wouldn't overrun my emotions and overrun my thoughts. When I do the scan, one of the questions was if I have to be with the person. No. If I have a connection to the person, I talk to them on the phone, Facebook, Skype, email. Email's harder, but I can, as long as I have some kind of connection to the person, I can do a scan. A friend of mine down south asked me to scan somebody. Actually, her grandmother was very sick down south, and we were on the phone with each other, and and she was with her grandmother, and I was able to scan her, told her where the problem was, and she pushed it with the doctors, and she did her own energy work. She's come a long way, and she found another teacher that helped her a lot. There's areas where I was so busy in my own life. We all get busy, unfortunately, but she was able to channel energy there and get the doctors to reevaluate her heart. And
that leads to, I'm cutting you off. I apologize, but I noticed the time, and we're starting to run out of it.
Oh my gosh.
Always happens regarding like the pain, and we had discussed back pain. How do you go about addressing pain? How does one go about moving the energy? And for specific back pain, how many sessions are needed with somebody?
All right. Well, one, just to clarify, I'm not a healer. I promote healing, and I use energy work to help. I also always strongly encourage you, see a medical doctor or a chiropractor. I love my chiropractor because it's true medicine. Chiropractic is true medicine. It's an alignment. You know yourself, and like I said, I swear by mine.
Yeah, okay. I love mine.
I was when I herniated my disc, I had the medical doctors and the chiropractor working on me. Unfortunately, I couldn't do my own energy work because I was too drugged up and too much pain. But it depends on how fast you heal. I will do everything I can. And usually, actually, 9 times out of 10, the people feel differences right then. If they're open to me doing energy work on them, they start feeling a difference. If you have a major problem, I'll do what I can to promote the healing, but you also have to continue with proper medical fields because energy work doesn't do it all.
When you're talking the energy work and what you do for that, George,
yeah.
Is it the same or similar? Is there a comparison to Reiki with what you do?
Yes. I haven't studied Reiki. I've been looking into it. I basically just haven't had the money to go actually learn Reiki. But yes, it's very similar. Well, it's basically Reiki's the same thing of going through the chakras and the flow of energy. And I just naturally started. I hadn't even heard of Reiki when I first started, and I was able to help a girl that twisted her ankle. And my first teacher that took me under her wing for a short time, the loopy one, she told me to see what I could do on this girl's ankle. I grabbed her ankle, I concentrated on it, I pulled the dark energy out. I saw it as dark. When I see an injury and something there, I see dark energy. I pulled that out, and boom. She was like, wow, I feel great. Like, really.
I need you to do mine.
I will do what I can.
Some of the viewers missed the very beginning when I was doing the back update because I couldn't do it live show last week. Because when you were on 2 weeks ago, I was kind of squirming, couldn't sit still. I had pulled my back out for the second time, and then that Friday, due to the sciatica, my foot ended up going completely numb. I didn't realize it. I stood up and started to walk and had completely twisted my foot because my foot was just completely limp, and had to go to the ER thinking it was broken, and it was all related to the sciatica. The foot ended up not broken, thank God. But there's some kind of pull strain thing going on.
Yeah. And actually, I tried to do some energy work, but your nerve was so badly damaged, you needed medical help to take it, to help you.
The sciatica had to get calmed down.
You had to get the swelling down and then get some adjustments, and then actually now I could probably try working on you.
Well, you know what it ended up being, actually? Because I had realized my right foot, when I stood, instead of my toes being straight, my right foot went completely like this. And when I lay straight down, instead of the toes being up, my right foot and leg was like this. I had to concentrate on the leg muscles to get it to go straight. My hips was fine. From the way I was sitting to relieve the pressure of the sciatica, and then that put the foot to sleep. And just escalated. Domino effect. Yeah. So, I had to get the hips realigned, back in position, and get the swelling down in the back that started. We're running out of time, so let everybody know how they can find you on Facebook.
Okay, well, on Facebook, it's Spiritual Connections with George Shaver. It's an open group, or you can just look me up, George Shaver Jr. on there, and send me a message by email. For those that don't have Facebook, is george.psychic@yahoo.com. Okay, it's george.psychic@yahoo.com. Very simple. Shoot me an email. We'll connect. I'll get you my phone number. I'm not putting it out over the web like this. Sorry. And I'll gladly do so.
And you can also get a hold of me if, for whatever reason, you didn't catch that. You can get a hold of me as well. Keep an eye out for the archive, because the show will get archived. So if you missed any parts of it or the beginning, you can rewatch it. You can find me, Tara by Misha. I have the Facebook page. I have my Tara by Misha, friends page, and then the separate fan page, and then the show Facebook page. It's in the cards, can be found. If you hit like, you'll be able to get notices each week, who the guests are and what's happening each week, and be updated, along with, that's where the archive link each week will get posted as well, to find tonight's show. What do you have upcoming?
Right now, unfortunately, with work and everything else, I haven't really pushed too hard. I did reach out to a lady to start setting up for doing that church investigation I spoke about last time. I'm just, for viewers, I'm open to doing parties if you live close enough. And there is a fee, basically a small fee. I try to do about $25 a person if it's a party, just cover my gas and stuff. I do phone readings, start off with email to connect with each other. Because I really don't have anything scheduled at this moment. Work, life kind of got in the way, and being a little lazy about it. I got to get on the ball.
Yeah, we had a rough winter, so it was hard to get thinking going out there doing anything, because everybody was snowed in, you couldn't get around, and it was just a blah winter this year.
Yeah, I've spent the last couple of weeks just enjoying summer or spring, I should say, trying to clean up the yard, making plans to finish repairing my deck, which I was rebuilding before I herniated my back, and fishing. If you ever feel like you're not grounded, sit by a creek. Even if you don't fish, just sit there by the creek, take in the energy, arms down to your sides, feet apart, not arms crossed. Allow the energy to flow through you. Share your energy. You only get out of it what you put into it. And it's great grounding. As I stand there, I stand my feet in the water, and I just try to enjoy. And thank you, Pat, for your compliment. Every once in a while, I'm reading these.
And thanks for joining us this evening. All the wonderful new faces, some new to the show, some old, my regulars, and some of yous out there I do personally know. Thanks for coming. Water is very soothing and relaxing, and also doing readings. It helps keep the energies calm to have a glass of water or a bottle of water right nearby at the table when you're doing readings. Just to cleanse the air and keep it fresh.
Right. Water is the original cleansing. We use it for showers. You use it for cleaning things. Purified water, or not purified, but pure water, spring water. As Native American, we use that for cleansing certain items. If we're doing a ceremony and then somebody brings me an item that they need cleansed, I dip it in water to cleanse it using the earth's energy. But not the filtered water and not standard tap water or city water. It's got to be spring water, natural, clean water. And then I go about other cleansing, proceeding with cleansings and blessings with the sage and cedars we mentioned earlier.
Right. And for those that are new to all of this, a simple thing that I always start people out with is just your shower or your tub. In the shower, imagine it just cleansing all that blah feelings that you have, that yucky, maybe, I don't know, you were just around just negative energy and you just feel that yuckiness. And just imagine the shower water coming down, rolling down your body, taking it away, putting it right down the drain. You can start off real simple like that. There's no reason to start worrying about, oh my God, I need sage, I need this, I need that. If you're a bath person, which I'm not, that's why I started with the shower first. Sitting in the bathtub, you can also do the same thing with, and a lot of people like to use the sea salt with it. And if smell is something that you find soothing, lavender is the big one you would want to add with, or have lavender soap or something, or even lavender candle. Lavender is the big soothing scent that is commonly used. And you wash that stuff right out of your hair. Yes, Gina? Well, we are running out of time. I want to thank you so much for another enjoyable, informative show and being able to take time from your work schedule and your family to come on with me a second time.
My pleasure.
And I thank everybody for joining. And Christine, you can get a hold of us. Please let us know what happens with the rings and where you ended up finding them and what's going on. We'd really like to be updated on that. Thanks so much for calling us. Have a fantastic week, and to keep up with the shows and get the archive for tonight for anything you missed, you want to Facebook, it's in the cards, and Tarot by Misha, and tonight's show link will be there. Thanks so much, everybody. Look forward to seeing you all next Wednesday. Good night. In about 10 minutes or so for you to call in. And you had mentioned the one that I had you come to with me, that, the ingredients and things that you had used. I don't believe we got into the different reasons why. We had started to, but then I don't think we ended up
we touched, yeah, we touched it lightly,
Right.
because I have a hard time remembering proper terminology. Um, the the main ingredient everyone is familiar with is sage. Some
Right.
people call it white sage. I found that it's a common sage that you grow, and you can grow in your garden and crush it up and use it for culinary. It's actually, I have some hopefully growing again on my back deck. Trying again. So white sage, basically, it does a basic cleansing of helping to cleanse out some of the negative and encouraging the good energy to come in. It's very good for cleansing your personal self. When I meditate, I like to have a small bowl that has a little bit burning in it, or it's smoldering is what it's doing, because it's just putting out smoke. You don't want to.
Back the first time when she was like 18 years old.
Yeah.
And thought it was fine. And, here it is decades later, and she's on and off with it too, and having issues.
Anyway, so you had some questions for me that we never got
It's
to.
my show, George. I handle and control it, not you. Remember that.
I'm giving you a little push. Nudge, nudge, nudge.
I want to welcome everybody. Hi, that's in the chat room there. Some new faces. Welcome. Thanks for coming tonight. For those that did not tune in 2 weeks ago and did not catch the show, let's give everybody a little brief background just to update a little bit about yourself first.
Okay, well, since I was a child, I've had a lot of things happening. I've always kind of known things. My grandfather was the first one that ever actually appeared to me. I finally figured it out. I was about 7 years old when he passed, and that's when he actually appeared to me. Since then, I pretty much was on my own trying to learn what to do, what to do with my gifts. What was I seeing? Because, my family in the 70s and 80s and 90s, they didn't know and didn't understand it. I was fortunate enough in my early 20s to be an apprentice to a shaman for approximately 5 years. Wonderful lady, taught me a lot. The reason I went that route is because of my genealogy. I'm 1/8 Cayuga, part of the Iroquois Nation. My great grandmother was pure. And then since then, I've found, as many people, anyone that has gifts and wants to learn will find that you will have many teachers. And I've had many teachers. Misha, yourself, you have taught me and I've taught you.
Right.
You never know. Teachers come, teachers go, some stick around, you never know. I was researching a little bit to try and find the proper terms for my gifts. Apparently there aren't that many proper terms, because I detest the title of psychic.
Yeah. Most of us do.
Yeah, pretty much everyone. I played a little joke on Misha, making fun of being a psychic. I had a little turban wrapped around my head. My daughter went to town hanging something off my forehead. But I think she would have killed me.
For the regulars, if you saw the Halloween show with me and Title, he did kind of Title's get up that he had.
Yeah, but I was going to keep it on, but I figured she'd kill me or shut me off. Would have let me, huh? Yeah, I'm good for making a fool of myself anyway. I'm very easygoing. Got a great sense of humor. My dog's making noise in the background if you hear it. And that's just the way you approach life, and that's the way I approach it. Is I just take it easy, and I found that the more relaxed I was about life and everything around me, the more I was grounded, and the stronger my gifts became. When you're all scattered and hectic, and you're worried about everything instead of just kind of dealing with it as it comes, you're not grounded, and you lose your grip.
And that's why every now and then we have to all just take a hiatus and a break. Even if we're not on vacation anywhere, traveling, you just have to turn it down and take a rest for a week or two until you can refocus, regroup yourself.
Absolutely.
We did a lot of discussion when you were on 2 weeks ago, George, about, the shaman and what's involved with that. We had touched a little bit, a lot more or less on the cleansings as well.
Yes.
We didn't go into full detail with it. We didn't get a chance to go as far into that as we wanted because we did have some phone calls come through, which we will be opening the phone line. I hope everybody had a fabulous 2 weeks. I wasn't able to do a show last week. As you know, since February, for 2 months now, I've been having back issues. And then 2 Fridays ago, I injured my foot, had to go to the ER, thought that was broken. It's all related to the back and my sciatica. On the mend slowly. Anybody with back issues knows how slow that process can be. If you were here 2 weeks ago, I had a friend of mine on as a guest, and we got busy with phone calls and things. We didn't touch on half of what we wanted to discuss, so he was free to join me again this evening. So I want to welcome back George. How are you, George?
I'm doing good. Glad to hear that you're doing better and back finally getting on the mend.
Yeah, yours went out, over the end of last week?
Yeah, at the end of last week I had some problems. I have the herniated disc in my lower back. That's why I know what you're going through.
Yeah. It's once you have it, it never goes away. One little thing can just nudge it. I was talking to somebody the other day. She injured her